I can remember the first time I realized something was very off with our messed up situation. So it's our first week of marriage. It's been revealed that my partner, my husband, my longtime partner, and new husband was having an affair. And the following weekend, he was set to go on his trip. And, any normal person who was remorseful or had a bit of shame or guilt probably would have canceled the trip and stayed home with his new wife, who who's just discovered that he's having an affair and, is going to be left by herself for 10 days in their home while he's traveling with his friends. But that didn't happen. He still went on the trip. And the morning that he was supposed to go, I remember getting up out of the bed and thinking, I'm going to just leave the house and go to the gym and just find something to do so that I'm not around while he's packing and I'm not around while I get to watch him leave. And I was really, really adamant about that because it was empowering and it was something that I needed because it was hard to watch him leave after this. And I remember getting up and not really having much to say to him. And this was the day after he admitted to being polyamorous. It was just too much. And I wound up taking a shower and I got several text messages from him asking if I wanted to talk. And, and I was like, no, I think I want to just not talk anymore and just kind of do me and head out and take care of some stuff. And he just was really insistent on our discussing what was on my mind because I was really just nonverbal and to myself and in my head and clearly getting ready, dressed for the gym, just to get away because that's someplace I could be for hours and just, sit in the sauna and just do self-care. I didn't anticipate working out, but I'm pretty sure I could have if I had gotten there. I didn't actually make it to the gym this particular date, but, he convinced me to start a conversation about how I was feeling. And, he hadn't agreed to show me his phone, which was something that I found really annoying because he kept asking me what it would take for us to work things out. And I each time had the same answer, which was we need to go to therapy and I need to see your phone. And I think I said that about 10 times. And so it was clear and it was crystal clear what I had wanted. And yet when I did say that, I noticed he would question that and say, well, why do you need to see my phone? What's that going to do? And I wasn't swift enough at the time because I was just so muddy and cloudy and emotional. But it was like, if someone is telling you, here's what I need to feel safe or to consider this, and you really want that to happen, you would just hand your phone over. You would just do what it took to make them feel better. And he was negotiating, and it was bizarre for me because I was like, you're asking me what I need and you're asking me to justify why I need that. That is not working for me. So if the answer is no, then that's a no, right? So we cannot work things out and we will not, there won't be anything that we do on this relationship if you're unwilling to do the things that I need to confirm, that this is the only situation that you're dealing with, because this isn't good for us. This isn't something I want to deal with. And it was very odd because it didn't stop. And it didn't stop. It was like torture, because he would act like he really wanted things to work out and wanted to figure out what was needed, and he was willing to do it. And I'd be like, okay, so this is what I need. And then he'd say, but why? Like, to what end? Like, what would that do? Like, I don't understand why you need to see that. And it was so bizarre, that reaction, that like, I just kept explaining myself, and it was like a game for him. And when I finally got fed up and was just like, and he kept saying, well, I don't want you to be hurt. I don't want you to see what I was writing. And, he was telling me things like, I don't want you to see our messages. And I'm like, why? And he's like, well, because I told her I loved her. And at the time, obviously I think I know what I'm dealing with now, but at the time, I didn't see that as like something that he was doing to harm me, which was to make me feel insecure or to triangulate me. But I kind of laughed, because I was like, you said you loved her and she believed you in the text message after 4 months or 2 months of dating. And I kind of laughed, and I didn't understand how serious this was, as far as like how manipulative and convincing and how much he was pouring into this relationship, and how bad he was portraying our relationship and our situation. And so I didn't, at the time, I wasn't able to grasp that. So I regret laughing, because it probably hurt his feelings and caused him to want to lash out. I have no idea. But he wound up not showing me the phone, and I was like, I'm out. Like, that's the answer. I'm getting out of here. And as I turned to leave, and it was kind of like, yeah, I'll show you. No, I'm not going to show you. It was just this weird kind of baiting situation. As soon as I walked away, I saw from the corner of my eye that he was going into his phone. And I was like, no, you're definitely not going to sit here and like erase stuff and act like you're showing me what's on your phone. And so I like turned and I went to grab the phone, and I grabbed it and I couldn't unlock it. I guess he must have unlocked it or locked it as soon as I grabbed it. I don't even know. It was, who knows, but I couldn't access it, and I threw the phone. I hit him. I just acted nuts. I was so angry and frustrated that he would do all of this to me and think it was okay to taunt me and to pretend to want to show me his phone, only to then want to erase stuff so that I couldn't actually see it, because I wanted him to unlock it in front of me just so I could see it. I mean, I know you're cheating. I know what you've done. Like, how much more could you actually hurt me? If I'm telling you I just need to see this to see how bad my situation is, so that I can have agency here and know what I'm dealing with and say, okay, this is it, and I can understand. So I'm not making any excuses. I don't think physical violence is okay. I don't condone it. I'm not proud of it. I am very regretful of that situation. I did wind up destroying his phone, and he needed to get a new phone before his trip that evening. And he subsequently agreed to show me the phone, because my answer was still the same once he was like, well, that happened. And when I did lash out and physically hit him, at the end of that situation, he said to me, now I know who you really are. And I thought he like cried for a second, and I felt so bad. And I was like, oh my God, I never wanted to hurt him. I never wanted to hit him. Like, I never wanted to feel that way towards him. And I was really disappointed in myself for hurting him and, hitting him and doing that and breaking his property and just acting crazy. And then it just stuck with me that he made that comment that now I know who you really are. And that wasn't who I really was. That was, that was anger and hurt. It was like everything balled up. And it was funny how he had labeled me and made it seem like I was the worst human being. And I felt horrible, and I was apologetic, and I told him there was no excuse. I apologized, and he wound up getting a new phone, and eventually showed me the phone, and that's when I learned that he had invited this woman with him on the trip that was supposed to be his bachelor party. So that was the beginning of the worsening of my nightmare. So that was tough for me. And I didn't break the new phone when I learned this. I just kept scrolling and scrolling through the messages and saw pictures and all the interest he was showing in her and all the newspaper articles or that he would send to her and all these random communications. And then I had the phone for about 10 minutes. I couldn't even scroll through all of the messages. I barely got through our wedding day. And that's when I saw that he had been texting her the entire day. They had been texting throughout the ceremony and throughout the day, and they were planning to hang out with his best friend who was in town, who had attended our dinner reception, and he had actually gifted that to us out of nowhere. He had toasted there, and it was just, are there words? I'm not sure. But it was awful. And at some point I noticed that she had mentioned a comment about needing to be bikini ready so that when she got to that country that she would be ready. And that's when I stopped scrolling, and I thanked him for allowing me to go through the phone. And I only was on their text thread. I had tunnel vision. And I said, I hope you have a nice trip and a nice life. And then he got mad at me. He was like, you see, there was no accountability. I was like, well, she's going on the trip with you. I don't know what to tell you. And he's like, well, I told you if I showed you my phone, you wouldn't like it. You would be hurt. I'm like, no, I just see that you didn't disclose everything about what was happening. You were about to go on this trip and not tell me that she was there. That's not really being, honest. So, it was interesting. And, I was getting kicked. My spirit was being attacked. My soul was dying, and I didn't have the capacity to feel, because it had hours before he would leave to be with another woman for over a week and leave me alone in my situation. So that's my share for tonight. This is real, guys. This is a real situation. It's horrific. And I am still married to him. I still work with him. And unfortunately, I still love him. So thanks for allowing me to share. I'll talk to you all too soon. And have a good night. Take care.